oh my God, I hooked up with this guy on a one night stand. It was amazing.
I've never had a one night stand.
I didn't get my first kiss till I was 18.
No, you be you know what I mean? Like, you are like way too fly, way too like good looking.
I guess white guys have always just liked me.
The whiteys love you.
What is your maximum amount of bodies that you would take? 40?
No, damn, 40. Yeah.
So you telling me that he's got some girl on her back stretching her leg up by her ears during work hours?
Leave him.
You better leave him right now.
He's a dog.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to the Hanging Out Forever podcast. My name is Asia Curran, your host. I'm here with my boyfriend of 8 or maybe 9 years now.
It's about like 8.5.
8.5 years.
Yeah, Grant Blackwell.
Yep. And you know the deal. On our podcast, we keep it real, we keep it cute because we're all besties, and besties keep it real, no frou-frou shit. Mm-hmm. So we finna get into this episode where we have a few different topics that we want to explore and that we would like to talk about. Mm-hmm. Do you want to start or should I start?
Well, so one of the topics, are we starting with hoe phase?
Yeah.
First? Okay. So let's get into it. Let's get into, the hoe phase and
hoe phase.
Is it, how important is it in somebody's life?
Yeah.
How does it shape you for relationships, for your sex life, things like that? I mean, there's a lot of questions there, Mm-hmm. I personally think it can help you in a way. It can help like the way that you interact with women or...
from a man's perspective. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, from a man's perspective, like having a hoe phase from a man's perspective, it can help you with, how you, interact with women. It can help you in a relationship sexually because, sex is important in a relationship as well. And so you have experience,
Okay.
Because everybody's first time
sucks.
It's horrible.
Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. I don't care what anybody says. I've never done it with anybody the first time and it's been amazing. I think that that's a lie.
Yeah.
Like people are like, oh my God, I hooked up with this guy on a one night stand. It was amazing. That's a lie. There's no way somebody you don't know knows how to like please you the first night out. I will take that to my grave. I refuse to believe that's true. Nobody ever has a good time the first time. I don't care.
Hell no. There's no way. No.
There's
exactly.
No way.
That's such a good point. Yeah. There's no way that like you guys know each other's bodies and you know each other's moves and you know each other's like energy on the first day meeting. I've never had a one night stand.
Yeah, me neither.
And that's like, I'm proud to say I've never had a one night stand. No judgment, a little bit of judgment, but no judgment to everybody out there who's doing these one night stands.
Okay.
If you are, at least like wrap it up.
Wrap it up.
Mm-hmm.
Wrap it and cap it.
Yeah. Like I need to have some type of connection with somebody before I get intimate with somebody. But I do think that, it is important to have like, some type of sexual experience when you're growing up, like whether it's through high school or college, whatever it may be. But do I think that like a like hoe phase is good? Nah. I mean, like for men and women, I don't think it's a good call to one. I don't think it's a good call for your like your main objective is to just have sex with all these people.
Yeah.
I think you should be looking for a relationship. Like, I think that should be the goal for the most part. I know that like sometimes you want to just hook up. You want to like have fun with people.
You want to be outside. You want to be in the streets.
You want to be outside. You want to be in the streets. That makes sense. That's okay too. But it's also like, you don't want that forever. And you don't want to get some of the consequences that come with that. Whether it's an STD, whether it's like getting somebody pregnant, whether it's, putting yourself in a position that, is going to mess up your future. I don't think that, and that the more of a hoe you are, the more you're exposing yourself to that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I don't want to sit here and judge people for doing that, but like, I personally wouldn't do that because of those, potential,
risks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I feel like for me, I have a different take. So obviously when we say the word hoe phase, we don't necessarily mean just like throwing your susie to the wind and letting anybody that wants to be in your susie be in your susie.
But
right?
That is a hoe phase to some people.
That is a hoe phase to some people. What I mean by hoe phase, I mean it more like I feel like you should get out there and you should explore yourself and get to know your body even before like you lock down in a relationship, because for me, I think that if you were the only person I had ever been with, I'd have a lot of questions about what was out there. Not that you're not good enough, but I would just be like, oh, I wonder what this is like. And I wonder what that is like. And I wish I tried X, Y, and Z. So for me, I feel like it's really important to try things and like be with people before you settle down in a long-term relationship. I don't know if that's like a hot take or not.
But if you had like this long list of bodies.
Me?
From your past, I wouldn't be cool with that.
What is your maximum amount of bodies that you would take? 40?
No. Damn. 40. It can't be 40? Any double digits.
It can't be any double digits. 10 is a lot? Is 10 a lot of bodies?
10's
not that many
still a
bodies.
Good amount.
10's not that many bodies.
10's still a good amount. 10's probably my max though.
10.
Yeah. 10.
That's kind of crazy.
Because that's more than I've had. I've had like a little, I think I've had like 9.
Lame. Beta.
No, because like the girls that that's still a good amount.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I know. But I'm just saying, I'm not even saying for just women. I'm saying for women and men. Like, you know, once it starts hitting double digits, it's like, okay, like, what are you doing? Are you just trying to hook up with people? Are you actually like trying to like find a relationship? Like, you know what I mean? Like, because all the majority of the women or all the women who I, you know, hooked up with or had sex with, and hooking up is different too.
So,
hooking up
so you have different.
And having sex with somebody is different.
What's the difference?
Like if you.
No, that doesn't even make any sense, Grant. Hooking up and having sex with somebody is different. Yeah. Explain.
Like if you guys just, you know, have a night where, you know, you guys don't have sex, but you do basically everything else.
What's everything else besides sex? Making out?
Like head is
sex.
Fingering, things like that.
That's sex. That's sex.
Yeah, I guess.
So you don't add those people to the body count though?
No.
So it's only like actual intimate intercourse that you count.
Intercourse. Because I mean, that's like, it
Grant's
goes back
picking
to
and choosing, y'all.
No, I mean, would you consider that?
What?
Would you consider that sex? Like if you're like,
if a girl like,
what is the list of bodies that you have or whatever, or you know what I mean? Like
what's the maximum amount of bodies I would take from you?
No. Like if it's like, so like how many people have you had sex with? Are you going to like add in all the people that you've just hooked up with or that you've done like that have given you head or like things like that? Are you going to add that into the list of people that you've had sex with?
That's kind of a good question.
You know what I mean? Because like there's people, you don't have sex with every person you hook up with.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I feel like they call it oral
I know.
sex,
I do think that like sometimes I think head is like crazier than sex. Not crazier, but it's like it's above sex.
Okay. So you think that like hooking up is different, but you think that head is crazier than like
kind of.
I feel like that's, I don't know. This might be a very unpopular opinion, which I hate saying the word unpopular opinion, but I feel like it's so intimate to do that to somebody. Give them top.
Give them top. Yeah, no, it definitely feels more intimate. It's so intimate. It feels more intimate, and it's like, let's be real, like nobody's giving or getting head with a condom on.
I don't know.
You know what I mean?
Somebody does it. I know somebody that did that one time.
A hooker? I feel like hookers are I feel like prostitutes are the only people who
sex worker.
Yeah, full service sex worker. I feel like those are the only people who are giving.
I think they're called dental dams. Is that a thing? I make that up?
But nobody's ever used one.
No, I know somebody
in existence.
That did
that. But I mean, because like I think like when you start giving each other head and things like that, that's like down the road once you guys have started dating and you guys have like been tested. Obviously, that's what responsible couples do.
Yeah.
That's what we did.
Would that be a red flag for you? Like if you were meeting a girl and on the first date she was like, "Let me top you up."
I'd be. Yeah.
Would you let her do it though?
I wouldn't let her do it.
Really? Oh my God, you're so wholesome.
That's just so risky. It's too risky.
I love that about you.
I've always been like, that's always been in the back of, I've been terrified of, you know what I mean? Something like that happening or like getting an STD or something. So I'm like,
that's a good thing to be scared of.
Yeah. You know, like I'm just like,
there's a lot of people who aren't scared enough.
Know you. Yeah.
Yeah. There are a lot of people who aren't scared enough. That's so interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I don't know. I haven't hooked up with a lot of people in my time. I didn't even get my first kiss until I was, Grant always likes to make fun of me.
What?
No, you already have that look in your eye.
I'm what?
Y'all, I didn't get my first kiss till I was 18. And when I was 15, some girl in my class, I'll never forget her. I know her name, but I'm not going to say it. She's really nice. But like, she was like, "You've never kissed a guy, have you? There's just something about you. I can tell you've never kissed a guy." And I was like, "No, I've kissed guys. I've kissed so many guys. I've kissed tons of guys.
Guys all the time.
I kissed guys all the time." I had never gotten my first kiss. And I didn't kiss anybody until after I was out of high school. Is that true? Yeah, it was after I had already graduated high school. I had never kissed anybody because I was terrified. Yeah. Men talk, boys are loud. And also like all the people I went to high school with, right? Well, all my friend group, they were mainly guys. So they all kind of wanted to get with me, you know? And I wasn't finna be the first one that gets with any of these other guys and let them be my first so they can go squabble around and tell each other and start squawking like a gaggle of gossiping geese. You think I want all these boys to know who's done what with my body in high school? Boys in high school got no couth. They've got no couth. They've got no class.
Because they'll even, without even like actually hooking up with you, they'll tell people they've hooked up with you.
That happened to me. They'd be like, "Oh my God, I was hanging out with Asia. We did blah, blah, blah." That cannot be verified because I ain't never done nothing with nobody. And I remember my first kiss, horrendous. He doesn't know he was my first kiss. Horrendous.
Yeah.
My first kiss was absolutely horrible. And because I didn't know how to do it, I was just like sitting in the back of his car like that. Like I just felt like a mummy, you know? And then I get home and he just had this thing where he kept like sucking on my bottom lip. And it was the worst experience ever. I was like, is this what it is on TV? I don't get the hype. Like, why do people do this, right? And then when I get home, I was like, I'm pretty sure my lip is swollen. Like I just feel so crazy. My lip was swollen as hell.
Yeah.
I literally looked like I had lip fillers. It was like it looked ridiculous. And I was like,
he probably didn't know what he was doing either, though.
No, I think that might have also been his first kiss. Yeah. He was very nice, though. Handsome, respectable, nice, kind.
So after high school was your first kiss?
After high school. You knew that, no?
I know.
You just thought I was 18?
I thought it was like senior year or something.
No.
It was like completely out of high school.
Girl was already out of high school.
Wow. Late bloomer.
No, such a late bloomer.
I was like one of those kids who was like getting married in kindergarten. You know those kids
I had a little
on the
kindergarten
playground?
boyfriend.
You know, but like you may kiss the little kindergarten bride, and we
that's weird.
It was crazy. Yeah. I swear my first kiss was like in like fucking like preschool.
That's gross.
Yeah.
Where was your family?
Not around. I don't know.
Jeez, that's
I was
rough.
at school.
So where were your teachers?
Not paying attention, I guess.
Gross.
I don't know.
I had a little boyfriend. I had two boyfriends.
Yeah.
Not at the same time, but I had one boyfriend. He was white, actually. He was my first white boyfriend. Wow. So get in line, Grant.
Nice.
White men love me. Okay. And his name was Simon. I don't remember his last name. Simon something. And then I had this other little boyfriend, and this is my black boyfriend. So I had a white boyfriend, I had a black boyfriend. And my black boyfriend's name was Tyshawn. He was the sweetest. Oh, no, it's not. His name was not Simon.
Was this like elementary school?
Different. There was two white boys in my little elementary school, preschool that liked me. Simon and Taylor, who I think Taylor's like a major Republican now, but good for him. But Taylor, he was like in love with me. He would pull out my chair, and if I dropped my jacket, he'd pick my jacket up and like put it back on my chair. He would always go get my backpack from the cubby and stuff like that in class. Yeah. So, you know, I guess white guys have always just liked me. Can you vouch for that?
You just attract white guys. White guys do love you though. Like,
no, they actually, like no joke, white guys love me.
White guys just be coming up to you, starting conversations.
I don't know what it is. I literally don't know what it is. But whenever we're out,
the whiteys love you.
The whiteys love me. Mm-hmm. Yeah, whenever we're out, I think it's because I have like the quintessential like look. You know, I have the braids and I have the nails and I got the lashes.
You have all that, but then you're also just like every time you talk like around people, you like invite others into the conversation. He always says this.
I think it's a diss.
No, but you do that.
This is a diss.
You have a very like inviting like tone to your voice, I guess is what you could call it. Because we'll start a conversation and like you'll be like what do you think about it? You know what I mean?
I do not do that. People jump in.
They jump in because I know you're talking about it and you're talking about what we're talking about and you're like looking over like
that's not true. I don't do that.
You want to join? You want in on this?
I do like when
you're very inviting though.
I do like when random people talk to me, but I feel like the thing is with white boys, white men don't know how to approach black women. Mm-hmm. So when they hear me speak, for some reason they feel connected to that.
And you're constantly giving people compliments.
I do that, yeah. But I'm not like going up to a white guy and being like, "Hey, I love that haircut and those loafers." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's really funny because we'll go out And if you're right next to me or whatever, I'll just be doing my thing. So I think that like white guys, what I noticed, even online, white men don't know how to talk to black women. And we'll get DMs sometimes where white men will DM us on our podcast platform and they'll be like, I really like black women, but I don't know how to talk to them. I'm like, just talk to them. They're black. They're women. What are we talking about?
Like they get in their heads like you have to like speak differently or you have to like have different topics or something. It's like, no, dude, just be yourself.
Just
and, like,
be you.
They'll like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But I don't know. White men love me. They see the look and they're just like, wow, that looks dangerous or out there or whatever it is. I don't know how. Wait, what was your mindset? You're white.
What was my mindset when talking to you?
Yeah. Well, I didn't have this look back then. I was like more of a goober.
Yeah, I get. I don't know. I wouldn't say you were a goober,
That's
but
sweet.
I don't know. We connected like so quickly.
Yeah.
On like, but we connected on things that were like in like black culture.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean?
That's
like
true.
we connected with like the music we were listening to and like
Art.
just art and things that we were like passionate about and really into. So I think we connected in that, and I think that having those conversations, you're like, oh, he's not like a typical white boy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you kind of
you had
that vibe. Yeah. I had a little sauce on me.
A little sauce.
But I think that connected us too. But also I've never been the type of person to change who I am around certain people. And I think that you saw that too. Like I'm the same person around all these different people.
That's true.
All these different types of people. And I'm just not the type of person, I don't change who I am or my values. And I also don't change, like, if I'm not into something, I don't like.
Grant can't pretend to be into nothing, y'all.
I know.
He can't pretend to like a conversation.
If I am like not into it, like it just is all over my face that I'm not into it.
Yeah, you're the worst at that, respectfully.
Which can be like endearing in a type of way.
Is it? When somebody's telling you something that they're interested about, you're just like, wow.
I'm just trying to get out of the conversation usually. But if I'm really into it, I'm really into like what we got going on and like I'm really into the person or I like really care for the person. That's it too. I'm not the type of person who just like gives every random person like all of me. Or
That's
like,
true. You're very selective.
Give them all my energy or my attention. I'm very selective with that, and something I don't do that I hate that people do.
I know. I do this too. I know what it is.
Yeah. They tell random people that you love them.
I know. I do that.
Like, oh,
love you.
Oh, love you. Love you guys. Love you. You know what I mean? Like things like that. I never would be caught doing that.
Really?
I don't know why. It's just like that word is like very
sacred. I appreciate that because like, I feel like that helps you set boundaries for our relationship. So I'm not worried about you cheating at all. But
oh, well, yeah. That's a whole other type of thing.
I know, but it's just like the guys that are like, love you, girl. I'd be like, huh? Who you love?
I know, yeah.
But I tell everybody I love them.
I don't even really, I say it to my friends like once in a blue moon.
Well, my best friend Swag, even I don't tell him I love him. We don't say that to each other. And we've been friends for like 12, 13 years. What we say to each other is, you are loved.
Yeah.
I don't say, love you. I say, you are loved. And then we go on.
But you throw around the love word a lot.
I do.
I've noticed that.
I
you
do
throw that around a lot. Random people.
Sorry.
I don't care. You can do it.
Okay.
It's not as like, I mean, obviously it's deep to you, but it can be used in different meanings, I think, for you, where it's just one like
blanket for
definition for me. Yeah. But back to the hoe phases.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, wow, we've got off on like a crazy tangent.
I told you that was going to happen.
We tange.
We go on the tangents, but that was nice.
But I'm going to talk about my little like experiences, right? So I've never had, I don't know. I have what I would consider a hoe phase, which we're not going to talk about on this podcast, guys. But I do have what I would consider a hoe phase. And maybe we'll talk about that in the future.
I think it can go two ways.
Okay.
You can have a hoe phase or you can have a relationship phase, which I think you get the same out of.
Okay.
Because if you go on a hoe phase, you're having sex with a bunch of different people.
If that's how you classify a hoe phase could also just be like
that's
you dating.
What it is. If you go out and you're having sex with a bunch of different people, but you're only doing it like once or twice with all these people. But in a relationship phase, you're having sex with one person, but you're doing it over and over and over. So you're having sex with somebody, like the amount of sex is equal because you're having a lot of sex and you're learning a lot about sex and about yourself. Some would say, I would say, that you're learning more about sex when you're only having sex with one person or two people or however many people in the relationship phase.
Tracks.
you're learning more about yourself because you're learning with this person. You know, you have the what are those things that you put on a bike?
Training wheels?
You have the training wheels.
You kept going like this. I don't know what that
you
is.
have the training wheels phase, you know, where you start slow.
Okay.
You lead up to like, you know, you're going on a date. Now you're holding hands. Now you're kissing. Now you guys are like having intimate moments. Now you guys are, hey, you want to have sex? Let's do it. Let's try it.
Yeah.
And you have those levels of, you know, teaching and learning where you can move slowly.
That's true.
But you're learning, what you're learning is like more in depth.
I know, but I'm saying like my thing that I classify as a hoe phase. Do you consider that as a hoe phase?
No.
You don't even know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I do. I guess so, yeah.
Thank you.
That's more of like a, like...
Don't give too many clues.
Figuring out your sexuality or whatever. You
okay.
know what I mean? Or coming into your sexuality.
There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that.
So,
I was like figuring it out. No.
Yeah. So, I mean, I personally think that having like relationship phases are more productive than just having a hoe phase.
That's so real.
Where you're having sex with all these different people, so you have to start over new with all these different people.
And you don't get to learn about your body.
You don't get to like fully learn and go in depth with it. You know what I mean? Because like we talked about before, that first time having sex with somebody is always the worst.
Trash.
You know what I mean? So I feel like maybe you'll have some good sex within that hoe phase if you're having sex with all these different people. Maybe some of it will be good, but the majority of it is just going to be a trash first time. And usually if it's like a quick hookup, it's usually a booty call. It's usually like, you know, a late night at the bar. It's usually like those types of things. So it's not going to be as fulfilling as, you know, having sex with the same person where you guys really get to know each other.
That's sweet.
And it's like, it's also like, I'm not saying that you should only be with one person, but having relationships like one for 2 years, one for 1 year, one for 3 years, you know what I mean? Like that is what I had, I would say. I mean, there were some people that I was dating for like a month and then we ended up hooking up and having sex. And then we stopped dating. You make your own rules, don't you? Yeah, I mean, sometimes you got to bend the rules, baby. But I've never done one night stands or
me neither.
Like just like
but it's funny because I've met a lot of guys who have had a good one night stand, but I've never met a single woman that's had a good one night stand because men don't have any concept of pleasure.
Great for any guy.
I know.
It's great for any guy.
I know.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like, and
the woman's just like,
it's usually like you're drunk at the bar. It's late.
Is it usually that, or is that just what it is on TV? I don't think that's what it usually
I guess, or it's like you're at a party with somebody or something. You know what I mean? Like that is usually the setting.
Oh, for like a one night stand.
Oh
yeah, okay,
yeah. I mean, like if it's like a booty call, then it's like somebody that you're continuously texting at 2 or 3 a.m. after the bar. You know what I mean? Like, you know, and there's in that aspect, like in that situation, there's usually a power dynamic there. In a booty call.
What's the power dynamic?
Usually the one getting the text message
is the booty.
Is the booty.
Okay.
But is not the dominant one in the relationship.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Or is not the, you know, how would you say it? Like the one that likes the other more. One that
pursues. Wait, you're saying the person that's the booty likes the other person more?
Yeah.
I could totally see that.
Because usually when you're doing a booty call, if you're hitting somebody up at like 2 or 3 a.m., that kind of shows how you feel about them, or that kind of shows how you see them in the respect level.
Right.
You know, you hit people up at like 12 p.m. and go get lunch with somebody that you like. You know what I mean? But like for somebody that you want to just like, you know, get one off real quick with, you hit them up at like 2 a.m. But those are kind of the differences of like what I think of like a hoe phase and then like a relationship phase.
That makes sense. Yeah, I feel like, well, for me, I don't think that a hoe phase is always about having sex with somebody. I think it can be also an exploration of your identity sexually. I don't think it has to be explicitly you engaging in intercourse with somebody, but that's just how I define it.
But when you hear hoe phase,
Yes, okay.
Society
whatever.
has deemed that a hoe phase is what it is. You know
Well,
what I mean?
I can make my own definitions.
Mm-hmm.
And my definition
true.
of a hoe phase is somebody that's out there like exploring themselves and exploring their body and going out in different situations. And then maybe they're having sex with people. Maybe they're not. You know what I mean? Maybe they're just dating around. I consider that.
But dating around is.
But I don't mean
different too,
the word hoe phase as like a negative. I don't care. Like 80% of my friends are strippers.
Yeah, but
Not really, not 80%. More like 50%, like 40%.
I would say that a relationship phase is a little bit more positive than a hoe phase.
Okay. Y'all, I just don't think, I don't
Yeah.
look at the word hoe and be like, that's bad, because I think that everybody has their own way of assigning somebody as being a hoe. Like I get called a hoe just because you're white.
Yeah, but it's also like,
You know what I mean? People on the internet will call me a hoe because I'm dating a white guy.
If I had sex with 100 women before we started dating, how would you feel about that?
Oh, that's not for me.
So it's not positive.
That's not for some person. For somebody else,
not
it's
for
fine.
me. Oh yeah, that's not for me.
For somebody else, it's fine.
Yeah, but I'm talking about myself. We're talking about our preference.
I think that makes you a slut dragon.
Yeah, I mean, it's like
I don't know. I guess I know. I don't know. I know so many people.
I think you do know. I think you do know.
I don't.
Yeah.
I just don't feel like the word hoe is like necessarily bad. I think it's based on your own set of morals and ethics. Like if I don't mind dating a guy that's had sex with 100 guys, if I don't mind.
I mean, that would be an issue. That'd be a whole different type of issue.
One guy would be a problem for me.
That would be a whole different type of
if I was
issue right
talking
there.
to somebody that had sex with 100 women and I was the type of woman that doesn't care about that kind of stuff, like, so you have to admit, like, women that are like in the sex industry, they're probably not like, oh, this guy has 150 bodies, he's a hoe, because it's all relative. That's what I'm thinking. Is I think that the word hoe is very relative. So that's why I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing or a good thing. You know what I mean? I feel like everybody kind of goes through, they're like, oh, I'm outside and I'm like throwing it around, like not even intimately, but just like, oh, I'm outside at the club. Girls that go to the club get called hoes all the time.
I think that,
and they're just going to the
club. I
club.
think women get judged way harsher than men.
100%.
Sure. Like, men are obviously way more concerned with the body count of a woman than I think women are with men.
Yeah.
So I think it can be harder for women who are in that
Higher.
field, or just
field.
Not even that field, but like I think it can be harder for women who have higher body counts to find a man.
Not if they lie.
That's true, but I mean, like,
if we're together this whole time, right? We've been together almost 9 years. If I told you, oh my God, Grant, I've only been with 3 guys, right?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, 9 years in, I'm like, I can't bear to hold this secret anymore.
it was 300.
Well, that's extreme.
Yeah.
But it was 30.
Yeah.
I've done it with 30 guys, Grant.
Yeah.
Would you leave me?
No, I wouldn't.
All right,
leave you.
then.
But because we're 9 years in, you know what I mean?
If a body count matters to you, then it matters to you no matter how long we've been dating.
But I also think that there's so many guys out there that there's so many guys that are probably like so desperate for a girl that they don't even care. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like even if they knew that like the girl had however many body counts, they're like, I don't care.
Or maybe it's just not a big deal to some people.
Yeah.
I don't know. For me, I mean, yes, I wouldn't want to date somebody with a high body count. But
I think for most people, it is I wouldn't say it's an issue.
It's alarming. It can be alarming.
But it can be alarming because I think that says
like
a lot about a person.
My number with you as a man, based on our age, 15. If you had sex with more than 15 women, I'd have an issue with that.
Yeah.
Because
that's a good amount.
I feel like it's generous. That's a very generous amount. You know what I mean? Because like to have 15 women, you either have to just be totally non-discerning to where it's just like, I'll take anybody, or you have to have an incredible amount of game. Yeah. And I feel like if I was with you and you were saying, oh, I've been with 15 to 20 women, I don't know how much personally for me, I would be able to trust you, because that's a lot of game to be thrown around.
I think
and
guys,
I don't know how I'd be able to like relax in our relationship and trust that you're not out there trying to like hunt. You know what I mean?
I think guys that have a lot of game though,
it's
kind of a hot take. I think guys that have a lot of game, it's harder for them to actually get in real relationships.
Yes,
because
I agree.
women don't trust them.
100%.
You know what I mean? And women will see them. They'll become that 3 a.m. booty call. You know what I mean? They won't the woman won't take them serious because it's like, no, you be fucking. You know what I mean? Like you are like way too fly, way too like good looking. You know what I mean? Like you're so good with your words. Like you have to have some flaws for women to feel safe around you.
That's so true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's why like I mean, I would never date a personal trainer, but personal trainers are an immediate red flag to me. I was talking to somebody trainer, and I was like,
club promoter. There's like in that field.
Right. I was talking to somebody and I was like, oh my God, the guy I'm seeing right now, he's so handsome, he's so this, he's so that. Girl, what's he do? He's a personal trainer. Leave him.
Leave him.
You better leave him right now.
He's
personal
a dog.
trainer. So he is a dog.
Yeah.
So you telling me that he's got some girl on her back stretching her leg up by her ears during work hours?
I didn't even think about that.
I don't think so.
I know.
I couldn't date a man that was a personal trainer. You can keep that. I love the body. Good for you. I'm happy that you have that sort of dedication to yourself and your aesthetic. Yeah. But I can't be with no man that's teaching a woman how to stretch as his job.
That's a good point.
Hell no, you can miss me with that. And I just feel like I can't trust a personal trainer because, and this kind of goes back to the ultimatum with JR, right? That guy, the black dude, the tall black dude.
Yeah.
There's no way in hell I could ever date somebody like that. Because for me, if you're so vain to the point to where you're just shredded and you're beautiful and your hair is always done and your skin is glowing, I would feel like there's not room for flaws in our relationship.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be able to be myself because I'd be so scared of holding myself to your beauty standard that I wouldn't be able to relax. So it's not like I couldn't date. I mean, you're attractive, right? But like who's just
I don't want to be super attractive.
JR, like I don't even find him attractive in a way where it's like, oh, I got to get with
like,
this guy. But
like
objectively,
women will, objectively think he's attractive.
Right.
Yeah.
That's not my type at all. You know
and
what I mean?
I think that I think with just attractive people in general, if you're dating like a super attractive person, there's less wiggle room for errors on their end. They're less likely to put up with like any type of bullshit. In the relationship. Because they have options and they know that they have options. You know what I mean? And so they're less likely to like work things out and, maybe put themselves out there more, So, and I mean, I guess that's me kind of throwing like a blanket statement on just attractive people in general. Because I think that there are good looking people who are in relationships who like are in good relationships and they're good partners, I'm sure that that's the case too. But I mean,
we're pretty.
I could see, but somebody who's like what we're talking about, movie scene beautiful, pretty, you know what I mean? Like somebody who's just like subjectively good looking. Yeah.
Objectively.
Oh yeah. Somebody who's objectively, good looking in the standards of society, whatever you want to call it. Those people I feel like probably don't put up with
crap
as much stuff as like other people do.
I can see
relationships,
that. It kind of reminds me of that thing that's going on the internet right now. And they say, why do poly people always look like that? It's kind of like that, right? That's what you're basically saying. Is that yes and no?
Yeah. Yes and no. Because I'm saying like,
sorry, I shouldn't have said that. But it's funny. That whole conversation is funny. You seen that video?
Yeah, you were talking about it earlier. I feel so funny. Like, why do poly people always look like that? And it's just like, I feel like it's always just like, kind of.
We won't describe them.
Oh, okay.
We want to stay cute and we want to stay PC.
Got it. Okay, I was gonna.
But we know how they look.
yeah. But we know how they look. Yeah.
But I don't know. I guess I get what you're saying. I feel like if you were super, super like model type attractive. If we were both models, then it's like, fine, whatever. We're both hot, right?
Yeah.
But like if you were like model type, who's like just hot as hell?
Well, I think like
Charlie Hunnam.
Okay. I was thinking of a relationship where they're literally both models. That blue guy and
Nara Smith
and what's his name?
Lucky Blue Smith or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, they're weirdos, but they're like super attractive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're literally models and they're married or whatever.
So a lot of their lifestyle aligns. So it's not like they feel like they have to catch up or be more for the other person. That'd be too stressful. I couldn't date a pretty boy. I could date a handsome, rugged man, but a pretty boy,
like
that's not for me. He was
born with like a fucking toothpick and like a comb in his fucking pocket. So he's constantly like coifting his hair. You know what I mean? That does seem like a lot. And he's always like dressed like the like 50s.
Yeah, he always has that toothpick. I'm like, why?
It's just...
But I guess it's his vibe.
Style. Yeah.
Does it work? Kind of. I don't know. I'm not into it, but somebody is.
Yeah.
But yeah, hoe faces, friendship.
Oh yeah, yeah.
We're off on another tangent.
On another tangent.
What else did you want to say about Because you're talking about like being in a relationship and getting more experience from being in your relationship.
Yeah.
Like as it pertains to like intimacy. Do you feel like you've learned a lot? Like what relationship do you feel taught you the most about intimacy?
Well, I think our relationship taught me the most about everything, I feel, because this is like my first real like adult relationship.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that also there was a bit of a gap between my last relationship. So I think I got a little rusty, you know, and I only lived with one other girlfriend. And we only lived together for maybe like half a year or something.
Yeah.
And we've been living together for years now. So we've really, you know, developed a home, and we've really made our home ours.
Yeah.
And so we just have this space built that we've built together. And I've also, you know, become a lot more, you know, my emotional intelligence is a lot different now. You know?
Yeah.
It's a lot more now. Because you've really like pushed me to be better at that. Where I think with my ex, she was a lot like me, where she she could kind of get complacent with things.
Right. Yeah.
We were never really like pushing to the next phase of our relationship, it felt. So there's just a lot of big differences in personality, I think, with you and like the women that I've dated before.
Girls that you dated before. I am a woman.
Oh yeah, she's a woman. But yeah, there's definitely a huge difference now. Like, and obviously this is the longest relationship I've ever been in.
Yeah.
So we've had time to develop what we have today.
Yeah, I agree. I think the one of the regrets I have about our relationship is that I got right out of a relationship right into our relationship. I kind of wished that I gave myself a little bit more space before hopping into something else, because I don't know, it just feels weird coming down off of a relationship and going right back into a new one.
Yeah.
And I broke up. Well, I think he dumped me, really. He dumped me. Rightfully so. I was a piece of shit. So he broke up with me. And then I think like 3 months later, 2 months later, 3 months, we were like, I don't know. What's the timeline? He broke up with me.
Yeah.
And like, I don't even know when at this point.
I feel like it didn't
January?
feel like that long. Or I mean,
because you already liked
me. No, I'm saying it didn't feel like it happened right away.
Really?
When we started hooking up and stuff.
It felt like that to me.
I think it was like
I had a lot of
months,
guilt about
maybe.
it though.
It was like a few months, 4 months. Maybe.
No way, it was 4 months. Seriously, it was 4 months from when I got dumped for us to be together.
I think that
good for me. That's
also,
actually not as bad as I thought.
I'm pretty sure that's what it was. And
I thought
you guys
it was like
were
2
like
months.
on and off too.
Yeah.
At that time, like you guys were like on and off for a while, and then once you guys had like cut it completely.
Yeah.
Then some months went by and we started. Yeah.
Good.
I'm
this whole
sure.
time I thought it was 2 months, and I felt so guilty about that because like I don't know, I just felt dirty about it. And the worst part is that you were like the guy I told you not to worry about, and now we're like in a relationship for 9 years.
That was a part of it too, because like it did feel like a smooth transition kind of into it, because we were so close already. Yeah, and like I was kind of like
waiting in the wings, y'all.
I wasn't even waiting in the wings, but I was like one of your only friends out here. Yeah. So, you didn't really have that many people to go to talk about your, breakup or to talk about those certain things. So like you'd come to me.
Oh, I feel bad about that. I love you, but I feel like that was not great. But I mean, it's fine.
It worked out though. It's not like
it does work out.
Yeah, it worked. Obviously, it worked out because like 9 years later, we're still together. So I mean, I think that it all happened for a reason. Yeah.
For anybody that's out there, I do feel like you should try to explore things as much as you can before you get like locked down in a relationship. And I kind of had my little middle ground phase there, which I'm really happy that I did, because it answered a lot of questions about me. Like, I felt attractive and I thought I was pretty and blah, 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 blah. So like when I was going through my transition, I guess, I felt like I was having a lot of questions answered for me. And I've always been like a relationship person too, because I don't trust random people with my body. Like I've never hooked up with somebody I wasn't dating. Yeah. And even then I couldn't even tell you like how long it was until I actually hooked up or like got intimate with men in my life. But for us, like we had known each other for 2 years and then 2 something years.
We had like
and
a
then
foundation.
Yeah. And then of course we did the whole, like, you better get tested because I ain't playing around.
Yeah.
You know, thing. But I do think that because of our relationship, I've also been able to learn even more about myself and about my body, because there's not a lot of shame in our relationship. And this is something we talked about. And this is something I hope a lot of people are able to experience, is when there's an absence. Yeah, absence. When there's an absence of shame in your relationship, it really allows you to try things and go out there and be weird and be like freaky or whatever it is without judgment and without feeling awkward afterwards. Because I feel like there's some things that we've like done or tried or said or did.
We can really do anything. We can like try anything. We can express anything we want to each other.
And so that's a part of like the exploratory phase.
Just
of getting
be a
to know
hoe
yourself.
in a relationship.
Yeah, do that.
Just be
but also,
two hoes
I mean,
together.
I don't care where anybody doing it, but just be 2 hoes together.
Yeah.
But it is good, I think, to have a partner that is down to try things with you.
Yeah, definitely.
Because then you don't have to be the only one that's like, can we try this really weird thing? And they're like, no, what's wrong with you, you freak?
Yeah.
You know?
And I think that I don't think it's like bad to have like a quote unquote hoe phase, you know, or to like get yourself out there. I just think like don't spread yourself too thin. You know, like you don't want to give yourself to too many people. And especially if it's just like one night hookups, I feel like you're not even, what are you gaining from that? Like you're not gaining you're not gaining a lot of experience from that. Like just lock in with somebody that's laying it down. You know what I mean? Just lock in.
I don't feel like a lot of people are laying it down. I'm sorry.
No, yeah,
I don't think that there's a lot of
definitely
people
not.
in relationships or otherwise who are laying it down like they think that they're laying it down.
No, it takes time. That's what I'm saying. Like it takes time. Like you can't, like if you're just doing this one-time hookup, like how are you supposed to show somebody all of your experience, or how are you supposed to show somebody everything that you want or like you want to do to them in like a one night thing? You know what I mean? That takes time. You gotta like you gotta
I'm
pace
gonna say
it.
this
you gotta
too.
Pace it.
All the men out there that think, oh my God, I just had a one night stand and it was so great. She had a great time. No, she didn't.
Trash.
She hated it.
It was
and
trash.
she's telling all her homegirls that it was bad.
And these like pretty
you
boys,
thought it was good.
These pretty boys who are like rizzing up all these women.
Oh,
I
the pretty
promise
boys
you,
do
they're
not
the
put it down.
worst.
I guarantee
they are
you.
probably the worst.
Because they have nothing to prove. They've gotten by
they're
through
like,
life
screw
on
it.
their
Like,
looks.
I can just find a new girl next week.
I'm
You know
hot.
what I mean?
I don't have to be good at
Yeah,
like
I'll just
relations.
find somebody next week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know, I'm just saying. A lot of people
Go
are like,
bang some uglies. To all the women, go bang some ugly
you're
men.
not even an ugly.
I'm not saying that. I'm not. Saying that. I'm just saying like go bang some ugly dudes. They'll treat you right.
They might.
Yeah.
They might. I ain't never hooked
They'll
up with nobody
worship you.
ugly.
They'll
So
worship you.
that's
Yeah.
honestly the guys I see online where all the women in the comments are like, this guy looks like he throws down. They're not like extremely attractive
Yeah.
guys. They just have a vibe. You know, like there's this one white dude. His name is Quinicki or something like that. And he does like sign language and there's something about it.
Yeah.
I can't tell you what it is. But
Yeah.
he's like, he dresses kind of like an
He's
old
good with his fingers.
60s. He dresses like a guy, old 60s kind of vibe.
Yeah.
But he may be like 28, 32 maximum.
Is he
And he wears
deaf?
these no, he's not deaf. He's
Okay.
just hot because he knows sign language. Because that's hot. It's
Yeah,
hot to be a
'cause that's
speaking
hot.
person that knows
Yeah.
sign language. I don't know
Okay.
why, but it's just like,
That's funny.
because he'll be like in his little videos. And even me, I'm like, that is doing, I don't know why, but it's doing something.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's all these guys who are like adjacent to attractiveness, but their entire vibe makes them super hot.
Yeah.
You know? So I don't know.
No, that makes sense. Okay, cool. So yeah, I mean, I think we have a
Hopefully we wrapped that up and that made sense.
yeah. Hopefully that made sense to you guys. But yeah. So we have a
listener letter. We're gonna read a listener letter. All right, y'all. We have a listener letter. And they need some advice. Hey guys, I've been with my partner for 10 years. We knew each other longer than that. And before we even got together in the first place, we had kids with other people. Our exes are very toxic and they have been the entire time.
okay.
Also, their parents, each other's parents, like my parents, his parents, try to turn us against each other. And all we want to do is be happy with our kids. We haven't gotten married because of the psychotic exes trying to keep turmoil in our life. We've tried to keep it cordial and co-parent, but the exes don't want to be cordial. We're both 32 years and we live in Montgomery.
Ooh. So the parents of the two who are in the relationship are trying to separate them?
That's what it seems like. Yeah.
Damn. I mean, that's a lot.
It seems like that each other's parents aren't happy with them being together.
Yeah.
And on top of that,
The exes.
the exes aren't happy with them being together.
Yeah.
So what kind of advice would you give? For me, I would just move on. Like, you should get married regardless of whether or not some ex wants you to get married. Like, if my ex was like, don't marry Grant, you think I'm not finna marry you?
But the only thing that is the only thing.
Oh, because the kids.
There's kids involved.
Y'all, we always forget about the children.
The fact that there's kids involved makes it a lot harder.
Yeah.
Because you have to co-parent with that person. It's not like it's an ex that you just don't see anymore. It's somebody that you're constantly having to communicate with. So I think that makes it pretty tough. And then on top of that, the parents and probably the family, I'm guessing, isn't okay with your relationship with the other person. Isn't supportive. That's like a lot of like, you know, negativity around your relationship, you know, because if your family didn't like me, you wouldn't be able to get over that.
I couldn't do it.
You
Personally, I couldn't do it.
Yeah, because you're so family oriented.
That's like my number one thing.
Yeah, you know, so that's really tough. That is really tough. I think it's like, one, like how close are you with your family?
Right.
How involved are they? If like are they involved in the sense of like they're around, but they're just constantly like feeding negativity to you and your children?
Yeah.
Then you might have to make you know, a decision of like, okay, I'm not going to allow my parents to come around anymore, you know, or I'll go to them every once in a while. You know, like you're going to have to plan out the timings for that and stuff. But with the exes too,
especially because it's a co-parenting situation, like you were saying, that does make it more difficult.
Yeah. And with the co-parents, I mean, maybe you try to figure out a way of like all of you guys go to therapy together, or all of you guys do some type of counseling together, you know, like with the kids too. So like everybody's involved.
Right.
That might be the best way to do it, you know, just to try to get everybody on the same page as best as possible.
My advice would be to get married. I know it's a hard situation to persevere through, but my advice is definitely to get married anyway. If that's the love of your life, you should let nothing stop you from that. But what I would do, similar to what Grant's saying, is I would equip your children to deal with the harsh reality that might be them spending time that is right, them spending time with whoever the co-parent is. Because I grew up in a really not treacherous, but like turbulent. I grew up in a really turbulent environment family-wise because my mom didn't like my dad didn't like my mom. So every time I was with the other parent, they were always talking trash about each other. So it warped my perspective on who I could and couldn't love. So what I would advise is to make sure that you equip your child with the knowledge and the confidence to not have to choose a parent, because that's the most important thing. I think that sitting them down and being like, you know what, your dad doesn't like that I moved on, or whoever the person is, right? But your dad doesn't like that I moved on, but that doesn't mean that you can't love me. That doesn't mean that I don't love you. Some people just don't work out. I would really try to lay the land out for the children to put it in a language that they understand, so that they know that it has nothing to do with them, because people that are toxic like this, they're definitely going to be chattering to your children.
Manipulating.
Exactly. Yeah. So armoring your child with some sort of defense mechanism.
Without bashing the other partner, or without bashing the other parent too.
Totally.
Because you don't want to be caught in a web of just going back and forth, like he said, she said.
Right.
And, you know, you're
keeping it as neutral as possible.
Yeah, you're playing tug of war with your child. You know, you don't want to do that.
Right. So if you can keep it as neutral as possible and be like, you know, I love you, your daddy loves you. Sometimes he just says things that aren't very nice. And reinforcing also that your partner also loves your child. That way they can feel reinforced and they don't feel scared to choose, because that was a really big issue for me growing up. So I'm speaking from experience, is focus not so much on what they're saying to you, but what they're inputting into your child, and try to get ahead of that as much as possible.
Yeah. And then like I kind of said before, of like just making sure that you're having the communication as a unit.
Yeah.
Is probably the best way to do it, you know.
Right.
Whether it's just you and your kids, like you and your new partner and your kids, or if you're able to, get the exes involved as well, and you guys can all just like be a unit and have communication.
Totally.
That's I think where you should probably strive to be. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, we obviously don't have kids. We don't have kids with each other. We don't have kids with other people. So we don't really have that experience, but
I was a kid once, so I know.
But she like was in the position of one of those kids, I think, and you had that experience. So yeah.
Okay, so now we finna leave y'all with some relationship advice as per usual. My relationship advice would be, if you want to get nasty with your partner, ask them. Ask them about it. You know what I mean? Don't feel like you're trapped in monotony. You deserve to have a good time. And if you haven't experienced a quote unquote hoe phase and you want to do so with your partner, do it. You should talk to them about things that you want to try, show them things that you've seen that you would like to try. Go to a store and buy some things that you would like to try, because I don't feel like anybody should have that level of shame in their relationship. So yeah, go ahead and try everything. From Zootopia.
Try everything.
Yeah, go ahead and try some things and be open with your partner about exploring that next level of intimacy if you guys want to try some stuff. Because the worst they can say is no. Well, the worst they can do is shame you. But assuming that they're not going to shame you, the worst they can say is no, so you might as well ask.
Yeah. I guess relationship advice I would give is... If like having a hoe phase and stuff can be okay, but I think that it can be detrimental in a way if you are truly planning on having like a real relationship in the future. I'm not saying that like because you had a hoe phase is never going to happen for you, but I do think that like giving yourself away to too many people sexually before like finding that one and only person, I think it makes it a little harder for you, and it's not because of you, it's because of the way somebody else might perceive you. So I'm not saying it's like, it's not because you are viewing yourself in a negative way, but other people might view it in a negative way, and so yeah, I think that it's good to be mindful of that stuff, because like I was saying before, like having too many sexual partners, like you're putting yourself in a lot of risk, like disease wise and things like that. And that can majorly affect your future. That can majorly affect your future relationships, your future health, all these things. So I think it's just good to be mindful about it. You know what I mean? And this is going to guys and girls. I'm not saying like only women need to like obey this order, like I think that men, you guys got to be safe too. Men have to just be cautious of giving yourself out too much. And just like if you genuinely want something in the future, if you genuinely want to have a relationship that has this like amazing foundation and bond, you should want to try and start that as soon as possible.
I love that advice.
Yeah, like you should want to try and start that sooner in your life than later in your life, just so you guys have more foundation, and you guys you have time to really get to know somebody before you do things like getting married, having kids. So yeah, just be mindful, I guess.
Yeah, great.
Or just go have sex with everybody. Just do what.
I do want to touch on that. Actually, is that there are people that go through like a hoe phase because they're insecure and they're looking to fill something like a void.
For sure,
that I'm against.
There's a lot of different ways.
I think that it's not even that I'm against it. It's just that I don't want anybody to do something because they're searching for love. When I talk about like quote unquote hoe phase, it's more of like you want to try things, you are interested in exploring things, not you trying to bury who you are in somebody else. So I just really wanted to make that clear, because
but it's also like if everybody just reacted on their like inner lust or feelings that you have, like sexual feelings, if everybody just acted on all of those things, everybody would be going through a hoe phase. But I think that you really have to kind of discipline yourself to a certain extent and be like, you know what, I'm not going to just constantly trying to like have these kind of empty connections. Yeah. Like you should want to build a real connection with somebody.
Yeah.
You know, that should be the goal at the end of the day. So that's my relationship advice.
That was great.
What I mean? Like if you want a real, like good relationship with a great foundation, I think that should be your mindset. And obviously you're young, so if you're young, you're not really thinking about like all of that. But I think the sooner you start having that mindset, the better for your life.
Great.
Because having a relationship, like a really great foundation, a really great relationship is the best thing. I feel it was the best thing for me and for my life. So I always recommend that to people. So
you're so sweet. I love you.
There's my advice.
All right, y'all.
All right, guys.
So that's going to wrap it up for this episode of Hanging Out Forever. We're back, baby. I know we took a little hiatus on the podcasting, but we're back, baby. And we missed you guys. So
thanks for watching, guys. Go like, subscribe, comment.
Like, comment, subscribe. Follow us on all the platforms.
I know you guys probably have a lot to say about this episode.
Yeah,
so
if y'all got a lot to say, complain about me in the comments. I know I got a lot of hot takes.
Complain about me.
Or complain about him. Yeah, complain about Grant for once. Everybody's always complaining about me. Everybody's like, this modern woman, I'm gonna just punch her.
Whoa. Yeah, just complain. But or agree.
Or agree.
Or agree. Or agree.
All right, y'all.
All right, guys.
Bye.
Peace.